Hello and welcome to this short video I have made for you about the 4 key principles of your mind so that you can make sure it works with you and for you and not against you. So it's really straightforward. There's some exercises we're going to do together as well. Now I've put these 4 principles into the word mind to make them memorable. So here they are. Number 1, M. Your subconscious mind must give you what it thinks you want, is always listening. Number 2, I. Imagination is the same as reality in terms of our subconscious. It doesn't know the difference. N. It needs to avoid pain and seek out pleasure. That's its job, to keep you safe and alive. And D. It doesn't like what's unfamiliar. It labels unfamiliar things as negative, and it labels familiar things as positive, so it doesn't like what's unfamiliar. So we're going to go through each of these one at a time. The first one, your mind must give you what it thinks you want. Now what that means is that the most powerful thing you have is your thoughts. As you might remember, we have 70,000 thoughts a day, most of those subconscious, but your subconscious mind is listening to the 5% of your conscious thoughts in order to figure out what you want. Remember that first principle, it must give you what you tell it you want. So I want you to think about now, and maybe even write down in pencil, leaving a gap under each one, write down all of the limiting negative thoughts. I call them limiting lies. I'm not good enough. I haven't got what it takes to do that. I'm not able, I don't believe in myself, or I haven't got what it takes. I'm going to, whatever follows I am, I am weak, or I am unfit, or I am whatever it might be. Then think about the feelings that follow all of those limiting lies, because all of the 30 trillion cells, that's how many you have in your body, are all listening to the frequency and the energy of the thoughts that you put in. They're going to then create feelings in the body of tension, anxiety, stress, feeling, procrastinate, what's the point, those kind of feelings, which will then lead inevitably to certain behaviours. You might withdraw, you might avoid that situation, or you might go in and not really be yourself and be quite jittery, and then that's going to reinforce the negative thoughts. Remember, the mind gives you what it thinks you want, and if you've said, I can't do this, I'm not capable, I don't have what it takes, it's going to create the feelings and the behaviours to confirm that you're right. So the second part of this exercise, when you've done in pencil all of these limiting lies, in pen, write supportive truths underneath. Now, it's fine that they don't feel real. Thoughts are not real. They just become real. Thoughts are energy. So if you write in pen the actual supportive truth, you arrived on the planet like every other baby does with 10 out of 10 natural confidence. That means you can put in, I am and always have been more than enough, exactly as I am. I have everything I need within me. I always have, I always will. I am just as capable as everybody else. I have incredible coping abilities. I have exactly what it takes. Again, don't forget, you're the survivor of thousands and thousands of generations. There's absolutely no way you don't have what it takes. You do have that natural self-belief. You've learned to walk, crawl, speak, feed yourself. And you've done that by realizing that when you think that way, any kind of anxiety actually becomes anticipation. It becomes excitement, like, oh, I've got this. I'm going to feel like I'm going to show what I can do. I'm full of anticipation now. Anxiety, anticipation feel the same. It just depends what you call it. Then that behavior becomes, I'm energized. I'm going to give it a try. I don't care whether I win or whether I learn. It's all about learning and growing. Think of that word fail. It stands for first attempt in learning, right? And then we can reinforce, oh my goodness, I did do it. I am proud of myself. I did show up and give it my best shot. And I proved that actually I was enough to do that. And then that will become self-fulfilling because your mind has given you what you told it you wanted. All right, so that's the first one, M. The second one, imagination is the same as reality. So for this one, I want you to imagine right now, if you put your hands like this with me, we've now got in our hands a bright yellow lemon. It's quite big. You can feel the waxy skin. You can feel it's cool and you can give it a squeeze. It's quite firm. Now I want you to imagine, you can see this lemon, you can smell it, really tangy, lemony scent, you can visualize. And if you close your eyes and imagine biting in to this bitter, sharp, very sour lemon, your mouth will react as if that's real. It will salivate, you almost feel the bitterness and the kind of, oof, gosh, imagine biting into a lemon, no thank you. Your mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. Now, this has been proved countless times with musicians, with athletes. It's proved in studies that if people visualize for the same amount of time of actually playing a piano or actually doing a sporting skill, it shows that into the brain, it wires those same neural pathways as if you're actually doing the activity. So what this means for you, the power of visualization is the most powerful thing you have. So any challenge on the path ahead, anything that you want, remember that's anticipation. If you're saying with those thoughts from the first principle, I'm looking forward to this, I'm going to show what I can do. And then you imagine overcoming that, it going really well, you feeling really proud of yourself. That's exactly how that will go. That is the greatest potential you have, is to visualize exactly what you want. Trust me, it is like magic. I use this myself all the time. I say before every session, every speech, every client, I'm exactly the right person at exactly the right time, and this session or this talk is going to be one of the best I ever have. And I visualize it, and every single time that's exactly how I feel at the end. So give that a try as well. The N now. It needs to avoid pain and seek pleasure. Again, what this means is think about any of those thoughts you've been thinking. If there's anything that you want and you've been saying, oh, it'd be such hard work, you know, doing that training for that exercise class or something, or oh no, I couldn't possibly say yes to give a presentation, or oh, the exam I have to take, it's just going to kill me, or my bosses, oh, you know, all of the things that you've visualized are actually painful. Your mind is going to make sure it kind of talks you out of doing them because it needs to avoid what you are describing as painful. So again, let's describe anything you've been thinking of as painful, flip it and realize, I welcome this opportunity. What a great way that I'm going to get fitter or stronger or grow or learn or have fun or just give it a try. You know, again, as I've already said, we never lose. We either win or we learn. And there's always pleasure in growth and going for what we care about with that anticipation. We can always feel proud of that. So think about what you've been labeling as negative, even sort of daily tasks or things like that. Find the gratitude. Think, oh, actually, there's pleasure in this. There's a lot to be thankful for in all of the things that you might have been labeling as negative. So the final one is that your mind doesn't like what's unfamiliar. This is actually my favorite principle of the mind. Now, what that means is that at one stage, everything was unfamiliar. Crawling, talking, feeding yourself, walking, you know, riding a bike, whatever you've learned to do at one point was unfamiliar, and your mind could have labelled that and could have made you give up straight away and said, no, it's too unfamiliar, I can't do it. So think now as to what you have made unfamiliar and therefore easy, and it's gone into your subconscious and you don't even think about it. Writing, making a cup of tea, riding a bike, swimming, speaking, talking, all of those things. What that means is you can always say to yourself, nothing is difficult, it's just unfamiliar. And I can make anything familiar and therefore easy. And that means running a marathon or speaking in public or feeling comfortable about exams or stretching yourself into new areas of discomfort that then become a comfort zone, right? Think about that. All of the comfort zones that we now have at one time were unfamiliar, non-comfort zones. So your comfort zone can get bigger and bigger and bigger every day. So let's just review them one final time. And then if you have any questions on this, do keep in touch with me. But here's the summary. So your mind must give you what it thinks you want. Be very careful of all of those thoughts. Try the exercise in pencil, then write the supporting truths in pen and rub out the limiting lies in pencil. Think about how you can use the power of your imagination to visualize every minute of every day. As you look ahead in your day and your week and your month, visualize everything going how you want it to go. That is the most powerful thing you can do. I promise you that is to visualize positively what you want. Far more effective than worrying about what you don't want, because otherwise that will happen. So N, it needs to avoid pain and seek pleasure. Attach pleasure to what you used to call painful, if that's exercise or stretching your comfort zone, doing the things that again are unfamiliar. These are very linked. It doesn't like what's unfamiliar, it labels it as painful, and then it tells you to avoid it. So again, that's my favorite rule really, is to say nothing is unfamiliar or nothing is difficult, it's just unfamiliar, and I can make anything familiar. So I'll leave that with you. Well done for joining me on this short video, and I wish you all the best. You've got this.